All right. Let's boogie. What good, everybody? And we back for another edition of Going the Distance Live. You are going to have, I'm going to go ahead and just apologize because I'm going to be really, really rude tonight. With the fact that I'm kind of eating in progress. Had a busy day. So I got a little old spaghetti over here. So if you see me taking a nosedive, I apologize. Anyways, a couple of housekeeping things to get out of the way. So Giving Tuesday is a holiday, or not a holiday. I wish it was a holiday. Is a Tuesday in November every year where people are encouraged to give to their favorite charities, their charities of choice. So obviously there are a bunch of different foundations and stuff, all design campaigns and stuff around what they want to do, and trying to help raise money and stuff, and push their messages out wide to a much wider audience than would generally be paying attention. In the run up to that, the group that I work with called Athlete Biz, which is like athlete business, helping us athletes make a business and a living out of what we do. They have partnered with several of us athletes to give us platforms to share our causes that are near and dear to our heart. So here's my page. Feel free to share that. Obviously, I picked the Vasculitis Foundation. If you've followed my story at all, which most likely if you're on here, it's why. Obviously, because I suffer from vasculitis and do a lot of patient outreach work with the Vasculitis Foundation. The Vasculitis Foundation themselves has a new initiative talking about journey to diagnosis and how we're trying to decrease that time to diagnosis. For somebody like me, I suffered for about 6 months before they figured out what was wrong with me. But for a lot of patients, that number is a year, 2 years, 4 years. Ran into somebody recently that was at the 6-year mark. So before they got diagnosed. So we're working on pushing out continuing education programs to doctors and having more information readily available to them so that they can diagnose patients earlier. They also provide a lot of materials for families, have wonderful things like symposiums and chapter meetings all across the U.S. That have a real impact on people's lives. I heard from another patient this week, my boy Art out in Southern California. He is newly diagnosed GPA patient and just got to go to his first symposium. They just had one out in San Diego, and he was able to, no, not San Diego, UCLA. I don't even know what. Anyways, they had it at UCLA, and he was just talking about what an amazing experience it was to meet other patients, because while our loved ones often do get to experience a lot of our journey with us as patients, they don't really understand everything that we go through and kind of our mindset and what it's like being a patient, whereas other patients get it. That's why so many of you are on here. You get it and you understand it. And I myself didn't understand that. I've said it on here before, I think 6 years before I even met somebody else that had the same disease as I did. So getting people plugged in right away is huge for mental health and understanding that you're not alone. And I know early on I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to talk about it, to share. Certainly wasn't willing to engage with it on a daily basis like I do now. But since I got plugged in a little over 3 years ago now, in 2015. It's had a drastic change in my quality of life. And on top of that, I've met some really, really amazing people. Um, vasculitis oftentimes picks the wrong people to F with, mess with, however you want to word it. Sometimes it picks the wrong people, and picks some very strong people. And I've met some really cool people through it. And it's, as I said, just drastically increased my quality of life. And if you are a patient, I do encourage you to try to either get a chapter meeting going if you don't have one in your area or in your state. Join one if you do get the opportunity. There's information on the webpage about that. If you need any more information, obviously you can holler at your boy. I can either help you or put you in contact with the people that can help you. I don't know a whole lot. I just know a lot of people that know a whole lot. So I can help you that way. So get on there, get plugged in. It will drastically increase your quality of life. I can promise you that. I don't make very many promises in life, but I can promise you that. But anyways, so Giving Tuesday is the 26th of November. So you're going to see me sharing that link that I put up there a lot. Feel free to share it yourself. The Vasculitis Foundation also has, if you feel free to share my link, but the Vasculitis Foundation also has a page where you can kind of make your own. If you want to do that, which I'll toss up now. If you're interested in creating your own fundraiser, you can certainly Foundation's webpage. Oh no, Jesus, no. I'm about to send, or Amazon Smile. Thank you, Mary Francis. I'm losing my mind today, guys. I've been going nonstop for like 12 hours a day. It's great. So I apologize for my scatterbrainness tonight. Yes, they are. Mary Francis actually answered that. We all need an excuse to go shop on Amazon, right? That's what we really need. And once again, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to apologize. I've been running behind and trying to finish off my spaghetti right now. Oh yeah, Tuesday would be the 27th. Sorry. Thanks, Dad. Where would I be in life without Mom and Dad, right? Still correcting me at 31. So got Mom and Dad in your corner. So I actually got to see Mom and Dad recently. Hold on, I'm gonna take one more big bite of the spaghetti. Just guys, I'm sorry. All right. I'm finally full. All right. So what's been going on with everybody? Oh, so I was in Rock Thrill last weekend. Got the opportunity to watch a really high level cross country race happen on what I'm calling my home course. It was at Winthrop University, which is where I went to school right out of high school. And then I also ran my first ever cross country race there when I was 10 this month. So it was kind of a culmination just emotionally. I do get accused of being a little overly emotional at times. But 21 years of running as of this month, as of I think actually last weekend or so, they hosted the USATF state meet at Winthrop University, which is like a club system kind of deal. And it was my first ever cross country race, my first ever race of any kind. And 21 years later, I got to go watch a high level NCAA cross country meet there. It was the NCAA regionals. And the way that works is everybody's in a region, and those regional meets are used to qualify for nationals. So, some of the best teams, NC State, one of the men and women's sides. And, I the women are ranked in the top 10 in the country, and the men are ranked in the top 15, I believe. And you've got individuals there that are also going to vie for national championships out of our region, and it's really cool to see those people literally right in my backyard. It was a lot of fun. So how far cross country races? There are a bunch of different distances. The first one I ever ran was a 3K, which is just short of 2 miles. Most high schools run 5Ks, which were, if you're not familiar with 5K distance, that would be 3.1 miles. Then it gets a little tricky when you get into college and internationally. But generally speaking, college for the men, they run 8K during the year. At the NCAA regionals and the NCAA championships, they run 10K. And then the women primarily during the year run 5Ks, and then they run 6Ks at the NCAA regionals and nationals. Yeah, they run 6K both. So 6K is just 400 meter shot, 4 miles. So it's a lap short of 4 miles on the track if you were running on the track. So that would be 15 laps around the track instead of 16. Then internationally, they run 10K and 12K. Like World Cross Country Championship is 12K for men, I believe 8K for women. So the distances are all over the place, and it used to be really screwy. They used to have 2 races at the World Cross Country Championships, which I kind of missed because they had what they called short course and long course, which was 4K and 12K. And now they just have the 12K. They got rid of the 4K for some reason a couple of years ago. There's actually been an underground movement. I don't know if it'll ever happen to actually try to get cross country into the Winter Olympics and or the Summer Olympics and take away the 10,000 on the track. But no, those aren't short, Abby. You marathon people might think a 10K is short or an 8K short, but in the slop and mud, and for a guy that generally races 1 mile, it's pretty far away. It's a lot of suffering because it's still obviously a pretty good clip because we don't like to run slow. With that said, I'm actually I haven't run a cross. I've run, I believe, 1 cross country race since I graduated from college. And actually that 1 cross country race I ran with my boy Cameron Magnum Bean. We ran at the Blue Ridge Open, which was a college meet. We ran unattached. Did not go so well. I ran pretty poorly. Actually, I ran 1. I've run 2. But it's still been like 6 years since I did 1. So we're actually looking at doing 1 this winter. I might run the US. I've tentatively put it on the calendar and run it by my coach, James Snyder. What up? I've run it by my coach, and he's all for it because he's a longer minded coach. Anyways, he always errs towards the side of moving up instead of moving down or training longer volumes and stuff. So that's where, he tends to excel as a coach too, is in the longer stuff. So he is, of course, kind of all, I mentioned it and he's kind of gung-ho about it, but obviously we got to see how health stuff all works out. But that's kind of tentatively what we've put on the schedule, and that's in February. So that might be the first race I do, but we'll see. Stephen, any race is a suffer. That is very, very true. Any race that you run shouldn't feel good, whether it's the 100, you kind of don't have time to hurt. The 200, you just lock up really quick. Pretty much from a 400 meter all the way to whatever the longest distance you can run a race. I guess they got some 200-mile races or whatever. And for some of those crazy people, that's probably not even going to be far enough soon, and they'll probably be doing like 500-mile races. But yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, no matter what distance you're racing when you're racing all out. So yeah, that's what was probably gonna be next on my calendar. I did also run a low key 5K that I'm not going to tell anybody where it was at because it was prize money locally for a course record. The course record was super soft, and your boy might have broken the course record by 2.5 minutes, but he ain't bragging. He ain't bragging at all. But you got to pick up that paycheck sometimes. But that don't really count as a race. So that's where we're at. Training's going well. We're getting back into it. And what did Art say? Art, friendly reminder, next Tuesday, November 20th, is globally organized Hug a Runner Day, also known as Go Hard. I love it. Go Hard. Go. That's such a dope acronym. Such a dope acronym. I actually cannot wait to talk about Go Hard next Tuesday. Go Hard Tuesday, baby. Go Hard Tuesday. And my boy Art here is the guy that I was referring to earlier. If y'all weren't on, talking about getting plugged in, Art just went to his first symposium and got to meet some other vasculitis patients for the first time. And my girl Abby, who just ran a marathon in the Outer Banks over the weekend, had her vasculitis shirt on and ran across another GPA patient 20 miles deep into a marathon. So there's at least another crazy person out there trying to do marathons with this awesome disease. So that was really cool. There's a lot of really cool things going on this weekend. And I did, this is a random note, and I wrote this down. Last week, I talked a little bit about CBD oil, and I told you all about the one that I'm using or whatever. I actually follow them on the Instagram, and I happened to see tonight that they got a 30% off. I saw this on Instagram on their stories because I was watching people run really hard, and it was getting boring. No, I saw this on Instagram, and they've got a 30% off code. A couple more people like reached out and asked out about like how I used it and what all I used it. I'm throwing the code up right now. But if y'all, if anybody else is interested in it, you can scroll back in my timeline or whatever and find the little thing I did about CBD oil and kind of how I've used it for both athletic training and dealing with some of the inflammation and stuff and aches and pains that you get from pushing your body really hard, as well as helping me sleep after infusions and nap around those times and get rest and really let my body rest. I seem to really really like it. I ordered it last week, Abby said, but it didn't come yet. Do we need to go get on this company for not getting? That's funny too. Like sometimes when I order stuff and it's not it's not there in like 2 or 3 days, when it's something I ordered not from Amazon, I get mad freaked out. Excuse me, guys. So let me know if I need to shout out to this company. Make sure you get your stuff. I think mine came in about a week and a half, I think, probably, when I found it. So holla. If it doesn't come, we can always blast them on social media. Gets their attention, right? I blasted Waffle House last week. But yeah, if anybody's interested, I did see that, and I just randomly jotted that down. I was like, oh yeah, I talked about that last week. That'd have been cool to have. But maybe you can try to use that discount in retroactive, Abby. I don't know if the companies don't generally let you do that because they're mean. But actually, I kind of want to talk to y'all a bit tonight and not just ramble about not just working towards a goal, because that's not the right way to put it. But ultimately that's what it is. But these things kind of happen in life, and uh, I've had one of them pop up in the last couple of weeks that uh, I was offered an opportunity for a job here locally, and has sometimes come with jobs and stability. It also came with uh, a lot of workload with in working in an exercise science lab here. And no, I wasn't offered the job. Excuse me, I didn't, I never technically applied for it, but I was offered the. They were interested in me and reached out, uh, and it was very tempting because of the security kind of that and the lab and all the glitz and glamour, and it was kinda funny. I think it's kind of a great lesson for what I kinda talk about a lot of times on here, which is and things that I've talked about in my book and written places or in my blogs. It's when you've got a goal that you're really trying to work towards in life, other things are gonna come up that might be an easy excuse for you to go in another direction in life. And sometimes the glitz and glamour of all of it can be easy to get caught up in. And I know I certainly was because it was a little more money than I'm making doing what I'm doing. And it's not that it was something obnoxious. I wasn't turning down like hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or anything. But it would have been nice. But at the end of the day, it's like I would be giving up a lot of the things that I'm doing right now that I'm really enjoying, and I've worked pretty hard to carve out a niche for myself here in this community. One of the things that would have probably gone would have been, something like this podcast, um, helping with the High Point track and cross country teams. I would have to cut back on the number of clients that I had, or I'd have to give up running because of all those things that I'm doing, and traveling to talk and meet all the people that are on here that I've got an opportunity to meet in real life and meet those cool people, travel to these things. It's like a lot of those things I would really, really be giving up or severely limit what I could do. And it was funny to see the glitz and the glamour of this thing, the shiny apartment with all this brand new, amazing scientific equipment that 17-year-old Brandon would have absolutely just blown, like geeked out on so hard, and have the access to and work in that lab and bring these people in and do all this testing and even test on myself and really go crazy. And it was difficult those first couple of days because I was pretty sure I wanted to do it, but then realizing because they're not just going to pay you to not be there, so you kind of realize like, oh yeah, like this is going to be a major change. And talking to some other people about it, it was funny hearing the things of like, oh, you're too stupid to turn this down and blah 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 blah. And it's like, I think with like a lot of us, it's like when you're offered something that's sort of along the lines of what you like, you kind of entertain it because it's not like somebody came to me offering me but it's in that wheelhouse of things that I have experience with, things that I like, things that can be fun for me, but ultimately it's not something that really lights a fire under my rear, like working with people. That's what really has been the kicker for me is trying to figure that all out. And I thought I had it figured out here and have done really well and been extremely happy. Obviously not every day is great. Obviously there's been some things in the last year and a half of my life that have gotten me really down and been difficult to deal with, but I've managed, and myself and a lot of the other young adults last year talked to the International Vasculitis Symposium about this, is like figuring out a way that you can live the life that you want to live through the lens of our disease and with the complications of that, because this type thing is like going back to that type of thing where you're tied to something, you have to be somewhere. It's like, if I do go through a really rough spell again with my health, like what does that mean for my financial security? Um, you know, because like I do that thing where I get really, really, really kind of can't get out of bed for a while, or have the energy to do anything at all. And, it's like I've kind of cornered myself a little niche of, being able to work remotely, work from home, work from bed if I absolutely have to. Um, and that would be blowing all of that up. And I realized I wasn't willing to do that. To go hunker down in a lab somewhere and play with a bunch of geeky toys that I would like would be fun for probably 4 or 6 weeks. And then, you know, it wouldn't be fulfilling. And we're all going to have things that pop up in our life with anything that we're trying to work towards. You're going to have something that might be easy to pull you off. It's kind of in that realm, but it's going to take away. I mean, as with everything, it's the grass is never greener on the other side. It's going to take away from something ultimately somewhere, right? It's going to come at the cost. It's going to come at a cost. Be in that position and be afforded the opportunity. I mean, just to begin with, being afforded the opportunity was phenomenal. But it's so weird because this is what gets a lot of professional distance runners. I use the word professional loosely because there's only a handful that can make a full-time living just running without doing anything else. Is because of that something else becomes more attractive, and most of the time it is financial. Luckily, I've been chasing this dream for long enough that I realized that was like out the window from the get-go, and don't expect that to change much until I do something else and invest my time and energy full time into a career. Because obviously I can't run forever at a high level, and I use that as, I don't want to say an excuse, but basically I can't use that as an excuse forever for not to train or not to technically have a career, whatever that looks like. But I've realized more and more here, like I really love what I do, and I don't ever feel like what I'm doing is work. And we can't get distracted by those things. And this has happened to me a couple of times now. The first few times they weren't as enticing, because they were potentially further away from what I really wanted to accomplish and do in life. But you kind of just got to remember, you got to keep your eye kind of focus on what you want to do. And when you set out with a plan and a set of goals, you kind of got to try to follow through with it, and stay on that journey, because you got to remember that like that tour might be fun then, but then you might look back 6 months or 5 years or 10 years down the line and be like, man, I kind of wish I would have kind of kept on the path I was going. Like it might have been tough right then, but like if I worked hard for another 6 months or worked hard for another year, maybe what I was doing would have worked out. And that's what's so I think important about keeping your eye on what you really want to do in life and accomplish, and not get distracted by it, and have those goals, have those, because it's a much easier once I realized it was going to keep me from the things that I really wanted to do in life and really want to succeed at, and the things that really bring me a lot of fulfillment. I mean, coaching right now and helping people has brought me tremendous joy, and I don't want to trade that for a bunch of geeky lab equipment that would be fun to play with. And I just don't. And I think we have to remember that each step along the way, at each branch that you get to where there's a chance to go another way. I think that's why it's always important to go back and look at the goals and the things that you want to accomplish. And even like we've talked about before, obviously that cliche of, it's not about the end point, it's about the journey. but in life, working towards the life that you want to live, uh, and being happy, because as far as we know, we get one shot at this, and it's very hard a lot of times. So you might as well try to make a living at the things that you love to do. Expect those of us that are in these United States of America were afforded that opportunity for the most part, to you know have a career and chase after goals and do things that we love, because they're viable options in this place right now, and they still are. And luckily, having the internet and the World Wide Web allows you to do that. You know, being an independent book pub, an independent's not the right word. A self-published, that's the word I was looking for. Being a self-published author wasn't as a viable option 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 50 years ago. Those were, to do those required a, a lot different set of resources than they do now. And because of all the things that we're afforded, it makes chasing that dream that you might have a lot more accessible to a lot more people. I had that conversation recently with somebody asked if is technology making people faster in track and field, and I said no. I don't. I think at the very top it might be helping inch some world records down, but I think with what you see with more high school kids running faster, more college kids running faster, more pros running faster, is it being something that's more viable for people to do, people sharing information more, people seeing what other people are doing, people changing their scope and their perspective. And, hopefully I can do that for some of you. Hopefully y'all can see and learn from the stupid mistakes that I make all the time. And like, oh, Brandon was able to do this and go through all of the things that he went through, but he was still able to kind of do something that he really liked and really enjoyed, and managed to find a way to make a living and a career out of it, and be happy. And if I can inspire just one little other person to do that, I think all of this really is worth it. And, I certainly think we've done that with some people here, as far as especially dealing with vasculitis and making it out the other side of that emotional rabbit hole, to realize that while yes, it's going to be something that changes your life, it's not going to be something that hopefully ends it and stops you from doing those things. But beyond that, like hopefully we can not just inspire vasculitis patients, but inspire anybody that's in a kind of in a tough position in life and don't know if it'll be worth it, or don't know if that change is possible. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And there's been a lot of really tough, hard moments for me. You go through it every few months, you go through it, through a rough patch, but those rough patches get easier to handle the more resources you have. And I don't mean necessarily financial resources, but mental tools to handle those tough situations and handle those moments where you wonder if it's really, really worth it. Running today, I had one of those. Today was one of those hard days running, as I'm kind of trying to claw my way back in and kind of figure out where my fitness and everything else is at, and what I'm going to be able to accomplish and how quickly I might be able to get towards it, and still trying to put the pieces together of what's not really working out. And I had some of those moments in the run today where it was just like, man, this is a lot harder than it really should be, and a lot harder than I want it to be. And it's, those thoughts still go flying through your brain. It's like, God, is this really, this is so hard. And I'm really enjoying this coaching thing. And it's like, maybe I could just do that full time. But I know that if I caved in right now, I would be in a year and a half asking myself, well, what if I'd given it one more shot? And that drives me absolutely crazy. Other people can walk away from it and be happy, but when you crazy like I am, and spend your life wondering what if I've done this, what if I've done that, you know, I have to get to certain points with things before I can walk away. And I just, maybe one of these days I'll have that conversation with myself on a run and I'll just stop and walk home. But we're not there yet. And we're going to keep going. And we got more people to inspire, more people to bring into this conversation, more people to help out and lift up. And, ultimately more people to have fun with. This has been uh, a wild ride for the last 3 years, really. It's been an absolutely wild ride. And I just encourage people to get involved with all this, man. You know, like I said earlier, and if you want to scroll up or scroll down or however you're consuming this, uh, and see the links about just getting involved in things that make you feel good, giving back. Those are things that all people love volunteering and giving back for a reason, because it feels good. Yes, it helps people out. It really does, but it also helps you out. And if you want to get involved and start your own fundraiser with the Vasculitis Foundation, or like I said, Giving Tuesday's coming up on, let me get this right this time, Mom and Dad, November 27th. So get in there and get involved and get plugged into to something that's going to make you feel good and give you something in return. And it'll drastically increase your quality of life. So I really encourage everybody to do that and get involved in a cause and something that is bigger than yourself. I've been fortunate in my career to have athletic teams to be involved with, and then a rough patch where professional running was difficult, and I definitely felt like I was pretty much doing it by myself. But now I got a team again. I got you guys that have all invested in this journey and this experience, and I feel like y'all are my teammates, and I feel like I can't let you down. It's one of the reasons why I can't give up running yet, because I don't want to let you guys down, even though I ultimately know y'all would be okay if I walked away. I want to make you all proud, and I want to make my mom and dad proud, which they better be proud of me anyways, because I'm their son and they have to be. I could murder somebody and they still have to be proud of me. Or what was it? Our president said he could shoot somebody dead in the middle of First Avenue and people would still love me. That's how I feel about my parents. I should be able to shoot somebody in the middle of First Avenue and mom and dad still love me, because that's what unconditional love is. Hold on. I'm going to catch some flack for that one. But yeah, no, that's being involved in teams and being involved in something bigger than yourself. That's what we've been talking a lot about with our athletes at High Point, is investing in your team, investing in the people around you. And when you succeed, even though you might fall along the way, it's going to be fun and it's going to be worth it. And that's what we're here, man. A lot of life is really, really difficult, and we might as well try to find a bunch of things that we enjoy doing. So I'm about out of throat here. I've been talking all day. I've been talking pretty much for over 12 hours now at this point in time. So the throat is starting to go. But as I say every week, guys, I love y'all so much. And y'all do, and that's why I try to be honest with y'all. I don't, it gets tough at times. It really, really gets tough. And though one of those I had a run today that was one of those moments where it just is like, yeah, this is way harder than it should be. Like, why do I do this? And then I get on here later that night and I remember and think about all of y'all that are involved in this story and have shared the things that I've gone through, or bought a book, or told me about how hearing something that I said helped you at a moment in your life. And guys, it just makes it all worth it. So don't stop doing that for me. Don't start doing that for other people, because hopefully I can give you a couple of tools to go do it yourself and get involved and follow that dream of yours and just live a life that you really really enjoy, because you know it's all we got, man. I love all of you, I really do. And I go to sleep most nights very content nowadays, and that is an absolute blessing. So I thank y'all for that every single week. And thank y'all for the energy and the encouragement. And we're all in this together, and we're all going to lift each other up and not punch down. Sometimes we like to give some people some hard times, but for the most part, man, we're going to lift each other up and build each other up and help each other out. Because life's just better that way. Life's just better that way. Plus, then when you get to know somebody really well, not only can you lift them up, but then you can talk mad junk, and that's a lot of fun too. But anyways, guys, I'm running out of steam in the old voice. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys get on with the rest of your evening. If anybody is watching this post thing and feel the need to comment, I try to go back and catch any comments that get posted later. So please don't be afraid to post questions, problems, concerns. If you need a little motivation, hit your boy up. Be happy to give you a little poke. But if you missed it earlier, I will go back over the athlete biz thing one more time. The Vasculitis Foundation has allowed me to partner with Athlete Biz. Athlete Biz is a group or company that I've been working with to help athletes make careers out of being professional track and field athletes, which is not always easy in our sport. But along that lines, as we get closer to Giving Tuesday, they've they've helped us, and by helping us, I mean do all the legwork. Aaron and Jack over at Athlete Biz are incredibly diligent and do fantastic work. So they set up fundraising websites for all of us that had foundations that we were already involved in or wanted to get involved with and help raise money for Giving Tuesday, which is in just under 3 weeks on November 27th. So share that link, or if you want to create your own platform to help raise money for the Vasculitis Foundation, they've got a great app now, and or a great site, and it's also paired with an app, but you don't have to have the app. I just do it on my computer because my phone sucks, but that you can share. So everybody share that stuff. You're going to see me pumping up a lot of that as we get closer. So get involved in causes that are bigger than you, and keep your eye on the prize, because the jury's going to be so worth it. But I love you guys. We'll be back next week, and till then, as I leave you with every week, go out into the world and read and learn, and don't be afraid to look at something, read something, listen to something, listen to a person that might just change your mind about something. Love you guys. See you next week.